In this video, I just wanted to demonstrate the different ways you can actually place an order and just have a little bit of a discussion and show you how it can be changed to match your process. And I'll give you some examples and why I developed this particular video. Okay, so at the moment you'll notice that we have our order type at the top here, and this tells us all the different ways we can take orders. However, in a cafe generally, it's takeaway, even if you have tables where people sit down. But there's different ways of doing this takeaway, and the reason we define it as a takeaway is because people come up to the counter, pay first, and then you give them a stick with a number on it, and they can go sit down at a particular table. Then your runners take the food out to the clients. You can also have a takeaway where they come, pay for their food, you give them a little tick with a number, you yell out the number once the job's done, the client will come pick up the takeaway bag and go away. In both these scenarios, the client has paid first. They come up to the counter and they pay first. So there's a few things we can do if that's the way you run your business. If you have someone that takes orders at the particular table and they pay after they receive their foods, that's called table service. And generally, it's the same process as your normal order taking, only we have a series of tables. Now I've just created a generic 14 tables across as numbers, and you can see the process is pretty much the same, but I'll go through how table service works another time. What I wanted to show you most importantly is have the discussion of how your takeaway actually works. Now in most cafes, people come up to the counter and pay first. So you can then, depending on what food you're selling, decide whether you're going to put it in a takeaway or dine-in cup, and you can have a pop-up that says takeaway or dine-in, so it prompts the operator to answer, force them to answer one of the two. You can have a pop-up keyboard. In this scenario, I want to show you the pop-up keyboard. Some people like to take a person's name. Depends on your area. Sometimes it's a great idea, sometimes it's not such a good idea. So it depends on how busy you get, what your demographic is, how you want to run your business. So in this case, the one that's used the majority of the time is a pop-up keyboard, and basically the customer comes, pays first, you give them a stick with a number on it or a tag with a number on it, they go and put that on their table and you take the food out. So I've just logged into the back office here, my supervisor number, and I'm just going to go to my POS rules, which defines the different process rules. Now in this case, all I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my POS buttons, and I'm going to say I'm going to pop up a keyboard to prompt a customer reference for my takeaways. Now it works the same with all these other options there, but it gives you different panels. So we're going to explore just a couple of them today. So now I'm going to pop up a keyboard. So in this scenario, this will ask or prompt the operator for a name, or you could even put a number if it's a table number. So in this case, let's have a look. We'll log into our front panel, and let's have a look at this keyboard that pops up and how we can type in the name. Now this is a common process, but it depends how busy it is. If you're off a railway station where you get a train coming in and you get bombarded in 5 minutes, it might not be practical to type in a person's name. But if you're in a shopping center and you get a nice steady stream, it mightn't be a bad idea to be personalized and actually type in the person's name. So I've placed an order for a cappuccino. I click my end sale button, and you can see it pops me up a keyboard, and I can say this is for Mike. So I'm just going to go back one moment, because you can see it actually puts it on there. It's a reference for Mike, but it actually puts it on top of the coffee docket itself. On the top it says order for Mike. So what happens, it's just a takeaway order as normal for Mike, and basically the barista, when it's finished, he just yells out coffee for Mike. Okay, now in a scenario, I'm going to minus that. I'm going to put this order through again. In a scenario where they're actually going to give them a stick with a number on, and you're going to take a cup out to the table, you can actually type in the number on the keypad. So this is actually divided into two. The keypad is for your dine-in, and your left is if you want to put a name for reference for someone that's just going to be a takeaway. That's one style of keyboard that you can use, or panel that you can use, to determine a dine-in customer or a takeaway customer. So let's say in this case, I'm going to give him a stick with number 7 on it. So I'll go 7, enter. And basically this will now, would print dine-in order number 7. So the customer will get a tag. Well, the customer will just pay for it as normal. On the top of your coffee docket, it will have their order number 7. And so once it's completed, the barista will hit the bell, your runner will grab the coffee and take it out to the person who's got the stick number 7. So that's one type of panel. That's if you want to ask the customer for a name, order a number. The other type is, and my personal favorite, because I think that the modern cafe is actually quite busy and hasn't really have time to individualize everyone's particular order. I'm going to change the type of panel, but it's your preference. I'm going to change the type of panel to say, just give me a dine-in panel instead. Just give me a reference number and a keypad. So let's see how that one reacts now. We'll log back into our front. I'm logging in as the owner, but I can log in as a staff, no difference. So now we're logging back into the POS, and we're going to place another order. And in this order, what's going to happen now, when I hit my end sale button, it's going to pop up what table number. So again, you give them a stick with table number, I can hit say table number 7, or if it's just a takeaway, I can just click takeaway and move on. So if it's a flat white, you can just say flat white takeaway. As the barista makes it, yells it out, customer picks it up and takes it. Or we can print a little tag with a number on it that we can give to the customer, and the barista can also call out takeaway number 5 and give it to the customer. So it depends how you want to use it. In this case, I'm going to go table number 5, and if I go back, I think you'll see here reference table number 5, but it actually prints it on the top of the actual barista's docket. Okay, it doesn't display it on the customer's invoice, it just puts it there so you know you've actually hit a number. It's only for your own reference. So let's go back here and let's go number 5, $5 cash, and now that's a dine-in order even though they've paid first. Flat white, large, enter. This is a takeaway order and they've paid first, and so it goes in a takeaway cup and it marks it on the top of the kitchen docket. So that's 2 of the panels that you can use to determine dine-in or takeaway in a pay first scenario. When they come and sit at a table and you have table service, that's a totally different scenario again, and I'll go through it in another video and explain how table service works and how home delivery and pickups work and phone orders work. So we'll do them in a different section. Okay, I hope that put a bit of clarity in the different processes you can use when dealing with clients in a pay first scenario. Thank you for listening.